So the second mistake is starting with a clever idea and not starting with the market or with the market's problem first. I often say that service to humanity is man's greatest work in life. We get back in direct proportion to what we give to the universe. But you got to give if you want to get. That's the law. I was talking actually with Chief Video Meister Jesse here at Harbor City, and he was talking about it. I drive down the road sometimes and I'm looking at like, what were they thinking? You know, at businesses that people are starting, they're popping up everywhere. It's very popular, very, trendy to be an entrepreneur these days. Like there were, I mean, you may not remember this, but like there were times gone by when the word entrepreneur really wasn't thought of as like the thing to do. If you didn't go out and get a degree and get a job and go to work and have a career, you were like considered as really flying risky, right? You know, so entrepreneurship has just in the last maybe decade really come into vogue. And now there are a lot of people, in fact, think about, so Bill Gates abandoned college, right? And then Mark Zuckerberg abandoned college, and there's been plenty of stories of these guys that left college, didn't finish, and went and started a business, and it became. And so I think it's becoming more accepted, and I think that's great because I think being an entrepreneur is a great thing. It's not for everybody, but it's a great thing. If it's for you, then go for it. But a lot of people don't know where to start, and so they start with a clever idea. They start with something, they sit around and they go, that would be really interesting, or that would be fun, or that would be popular, or whatever. And that's where they start the business. They go out and they cash in their 401k, or they borrow money, or they get an investor or something, and they set up this business. And then they look around and they're like, well, now I need to get some customers. And a lot of times, in fact, they've spent all their money creating the product, filing a patent, setting up the structure, hiring people, buying equipment, all these different things, and yet they have no money left for acquiring customers. One of the other mistakes we talked about. But let's say that they finally do get it set up and they have money, but they're looking around, they're like, I don't even know where to run ads or what to say in the ads. And the reason is because they're trying to sell an idea instead of selling a solution. I often liken it to, going out into a field and you decide you're going to get into archery, and you have the bow and you have the arrows, and somebody walks up to you and they said, well, okay, so now what I want you to do is hit the target. And you like look around in the field and there's no target. And they're like, well, hit the target. And you're like, well, I don't know where to shoot, And they're like, well, just shoot out there anyway. Maybe you'll hit something. And that's how a lot of people treat their marketing is they haven't clearly defined the target. They got the product, the arrow, right? Or the marketing and the advertising, and they've got money, so they got the strength to pull the bow back, but they don't know where to aim. And so you have to define the target audience first, or else none of the rest of it matters. You can literally go out there and fire arrows into a field all day long and never hit anything. And there actually might be a target out there. So somebody could have created a product and there really might be an audience because they sort of had an intuition or a gut feeling about it. And eventually they might hit it, but it's a whole lot easier, less costly, and less painful to first go out there and say, there's the audience. Now, what's the right bow that's going to get the arrow there? What's the best arrow? Or maybe your gun is better, right? Or hatchet. I was in Seattle the other day and a bunch of guys that I was with went and threw axes. So it's absolutely vital that you at least first figure out the target and figure, and what's crazy is, starting with the idea, you actually may create something that is appealing to you, but has no appeal to the market. That could actually not be something that the market wants. I often say never create a product or service that people don't want to buy. Like figure out what they want to buy, what the solution is first. And a lot of times the most successful products and services are things that are really mundane. I remember like one of the wealthiest families down in a South Florida town, they make bolts, nuts and bolts, like literally nuts and bolts, fasteners. And that's what their whole business model is. And I know another guy that rents out storage containers and, like railroad car storage containers. So it's like, there's some of these things that are not going to be maybe like the thing you would talk about over cocktails, and it's not going to be super sexy and exciting, but it makes a lot of money. And the business that you go in doesn't have to be boring, but I guarantee you it has to solve a problem. It has to solve a problem for an existing group of people that have a problem that's so big and so frustrating that they're willing to exchange their dollars to get that solution, that product or that service. If you start there, you have a chance of succeeding. But I see so many business owners and entrepreneurs that start with a clever idea first and then look around and they're like, where can I find somebody to buy this? And that's a huge mistake. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you like this video, then we'd love to give you some more. All we want you to do is take a few minutes here and just make some comments down below. Number one, like the video, that'd help us out. Let us know that you liked it. But really more than that, put a comment down below and tell us, what else would you like to hear? What are your challenges and frustrations in business? What is it that you are up against as an entrepreneur or business builder? Do that and we're gonna keep creating great content for you, and we'll see you in another video very soon.